Allora, non mi resta che chiamare il moderatore di questo panel, Matthew Chavira. Matthew, a te. Join us on the stage and start your panel. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. My name is Matthew Chavira, and I am the CEO and founder of Prophets of AI, a talent representation agency dedicated towards representing some of the most prominent names in artificial intelligence and philosophy. And I have the immense privilege of welcoming to the stage in this female panel women who I have the privilege of representing. So please welcome Moojan Asghari, Anatola Araba, Anahita Moghaddam, and Monika Bielskyte. Thank you all so much. Let me just say what a wonderful opportunity and such a privilege this is to just be sitting here with all of you. You're all such wonderful individuals. So let's get this thing going. We don't have too much time. Monika, you provided futurist consultancy for Disney's Marvel Black Panther. Yes? Wakanda Forever. But you also do hands-on research for social and geopolitical impacts of emergent tech. In your opinion, how can AI support more inclusive and compelling future visions instead of furthering dystopia?
Yes, so I've been equally involved with fictional future depictions and also with the research in the realm of actual future making, technological development, scientific research, and also geopolitical impacts of all of these emergent technologies and science. And what that has exposed me to is just how influential fictional future visions are. Inevitably, they end up bleeding into the real future making. And that is a problem because in the fictional narratives, we've mostly been focused on the depictions of AGI, artificial general intelligence, that positions AI as either our damnation or our salvation. But it is neither. It is an incredibly powerful tool that is non-specific amplifier. It amplifies existing biases and existing values within our society. So what is really important today is to think what kind of values we embed within these systems and how it is much easier with the current state of technology as when any technology was developed, for example, virtual reality back in the day, to have it have destructive impact. It's just something much easier. And so we need to counter that because as things currently are, you have hostile entities such as terrorist organizations, such as hostile nation states, adopting this tech. Specifically, for example, the Kremlin, to supercharge its hybrid warfare strategy. Hybrid warfare is this intricate, oblique combination of disinformation warfare, cyber warfare, economic warfare, and kinetic warfare. And so we are not prepared for that because in the fictions, we didn't have that understanding how AI is not a god or a demon, but simply a tool. And so what I want to invite everybody to think about is how instead of focusing on simulations of our past or our present or our human experience, we could instead design the kind of tools that open us up, that render us more curious and burst our bubbles. Instead of us focusing on always being right, how can these tools help us to learn and how we can use them? Again, not to optimize ourselves away. Really, let's ask ourselves the question, are we trying to solve a problem or are we trying to solve away our humanity? But actually, to prototype alternative future scenarios, to simulate future visions and future possibilities. What kind of cities we would like to live in? what kind of world we'd like to inhabit and construct. And so that could help us make better choices, because unless we have a greater vision and understand how whatever that we're doing today feeds into that vision, we will not be able to act accordingly.
Thank you so much, Monika. Moojan, can you please introduce yourself, talk a little bit about what you do, and then answer the question, how do you think that advancements in AI, specifically generative AI, have been affecting women and minorities?
Thank you, Matthew. Hello, everyone. So I'm the co-founder of an organization called Women in AI, which is a global nonprofit aiming to close the gender gap in artificial intelligence. We have 15,000 members in 150 countries, and we have different activities to really target this gender gap in AI. And so specifically answering to your question, actually, there was a report of UN Women recently released that AI advancements and algorithms are affecting women much more negatively than men. And that is because actually, as Monika mentioned it very well, they amplify biases and stereotypes that we have in the society. And for example, the deepfake videos that were generated super easily with the recent applications of AI, some of them they were very, very targeted towards women. So the deepfake number of videos and images generated specifically for sexual explicit videos and images were increased 550% from 2019 to 2023. And 98% of them were targeted towards women. 96% of them were targeted towards women in the entertainment industry. There were huge cases of that, for example, that made blast. Just today I was reading news about another celebrity going through that. One of the biggest cases was actually the one that was for Taylor Swift, that the platforms, the Twitter platform couldn't take it down. Just, it got to 47 million likes and reshares and interactions until the platform could stop it. And even, after that, it was still, the problems continued. So the question here is that, how can we avoid that? How can we stop that? AI is augmenting what is actually embedded as values into its system. And the main question for us is that what kind of values we want to put out and amplify it, because of course it's an amplifier, as Monika mentioned it. So these are really serious issues that we're facing, and women and minorities are targeted more because they are not the ones who are behind the screens developing them, because they are not mainly the ones who are putting their values and thoughts and coding them into these systems. And that's why it's so important to increase diversity in tech in general and in AI specifically, because it's a very powerful technology. And it's affecting all of us. It's affecting us today. It's affecting all our children. It's affecting the future. So it's very important to be mindful about it, focusing on education from early age, thinking about what are the safeguards we can put around it. The regulation has a huge impact, and we see that it's growing more and more, but it's very important, even from the leaders in the companies, to ask themselves, what is the image they want to project to the world about their company? Because at the end of the day, ultimately, all these cases, they are harming those companies, not only the society.
Anahita, you are an executive coach. Based on your decade-long experience, what would you say is the most important skill for a leader to develop in this AI era?
Thank you, Matthew. Thank you for being here. So my lens through which I analyze society and this current age is one informed by contemplative science. So contemplative science is the combination of Eastern wisdom with science. From this point of view, the most critical, let's say, quality that a human being, especially a leader in this day and age, needs to cultivate or even just protect is awareness. When we have awareness, we become aware of ourselves as much as we begin to become aware of others. So this is when the scope of our minds, our consciousness begins to expand. We start to notice how fragmented our attention is, increasingly fragmented. We are losing control over our attention. When we lose control over our attention, we begin to lose control over our perception, the way we see reality. This means that we become very malleable, we become victims of manipulation. Our already distorted perception becomes increasingly distorted. And there is then an incoherence between us and reality. So to backtrack, it becomes critical to become aware of ourselves and others, which is the basis for empathy. When we have empathy and when our minds expand, we can begin to regulate our attention. We begin to own our attention. Our perception becomes a little bit more, let's say we become more in control of it. We can see what is true and what is not. This is when intelligence becomes more available in a more coherent and holistic way. We become truly intelligent. When we are intelligent, we care. We care about ourselves and our own happiness. We care about the happiness of others. Then we can begin to imbue these values into our technologies, into our organizational cultures, into our societies. So the final point is that we must invest in cultivating wisdom as much as we invest in developing technology. Because without this innate quality of the human mind, which is wisdom, we risk our humanity. So that's it.
Thank you, Anahita. Anatola, can you briefly introduce yourself? Maybe tell us a bit about Reimagine Story Lab so we're all acquainted, and then answer the question, how do you believe we can harness imagination to build a more equitable and sustainable future in the context of artificial intelligence development?
Absolutely. Well, first, I'm so excited to be here. And my name is Anatola, and I am the founder of an innovation hub called Reimagine Story Lab, where we design immersive experiences and showcase artworks that are all about reimagining a new future and helping people to see how to imagine the future through immersive experiences, including augmented, virtual reality, and interactive film. And this was important to me because I believe that imagination is the greatest tool of humanity. And I realized that when you look around you, that everything that has ever been created first had to be imagined, from the clothes you wear, or even this stage, or your own name. And so imagination is that first step to being able to make something real. And when we think about the future that we're building, in order to build a more sustainable and equitable future, we would first have to imagine it. And the future that we're bringing into the people that will be impacted by the future we build with technologies like artificial intelligence are really our young people and the next generation. I know that when I asked a group of middle school students if they used artificial intelligence, every single hand went up. But when you ask a group of older adults, it may not be the same response. And so it's important for young people to be educated on how they can use tools like AI in order to shape a more powerful and positive future, because AI can have many different impacts. While on one hand, it can lead to greater data center emissions, it can also be able to help reduce agricultural waste and be a tool for sustainability. And so it's important for the next generation of people to be able to imagine the future that we desire and use advanced technology like AI in order to bring us there.
All right, well, we're running out of time. This is for all the entrepreneurs out there, because each of you have created fairly successful companies that received a lot of acclaim surrounding what you're doing. What advice would you give to other female entrepreneurs out there listening who are maybe setting out on their journey?
An advice I give to female entrepreneurs?
Female entrepreneurs.
I would say, don't be afraid to go after what you truly believe that is right thing to do. If all the world is telling you that's not real and that's not what you should do, just listen to your inner truth.
Fantastic.
Absolutely. I would say to be centered in what your values are and know your core values so that you can build your business and enterprise around those values. I know that to me, my personal values are creativity, freedom, and community. And so the core of my business is really leaning into those traits and using those in order to help the world around me. So if you build in your values, you know that you will be happy and bring your greatest gifts to other people.
I would say, know yourself. Really invest in knowing who you are, because what you will do in the world will arise from self-knowledge. So the more you are who you really are, the more you're going to live your life's purpose.
So my advice wouldn't be just for women, but truly for all of us, because none of us exists within our singular boxes. And it's really to embrace interdependence. Our strength is not to not need us, but to be in community with others. And when we choose who to be in community and whose voices to center when we design the future, we have to understand that to extend the invitation to people at the bleeding edge of harm, to previously marginalized people, it's not some kind of charity work. In fact, it ends up creating better product, better platforms, and better experience for most of us. So leadership of the most impacted benefits most of us, and we should not aim to make ourselves more machine-like, but to make ourselves more human-like, and also to be inspired but by all the incredible wealth of knowledge that the rest of the living world provides us.
All right, that's it. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining this panel. Yep.
Thank you so much. I nostri profeti dell'intelligenza artificiale. Thank you again.